Hi YouTube. I just did a Clarisonic demo, excuse me, sorry, to put on my makeup, and I love it, and it's super awesome, and I highly recommend that as a method if you like full coverage. Oh my god, every time I make a video, notifications start everywhere, even they don't, like, make any noises for hours beforehand. So, this is another surgery video, because there are a lot of topics I want to cover, just because I see so many people, who are asking the same questions over and over, and that's not a problem at all. It's not like, everybody's like, oh my god, stop asking the same questions. It's just there are a lot of people who, are in similar boats for different issues, and one issue I want to talk about is BMI and BMI shaming. Now, if you go into groups, if you're on Real Self, if you're in surgery groups, forums, whatever, a lot of people have a lot of stuff to say about BMI. And in Mommy Makeover groups especially, a lot of people are post weight loss surgery, so it seems to be somewhat of a contentious issue for people that they feel that bigger dolls are not doing it in the right order, or, they should lose weight first because that's what the people did, or whatever the case is. So if you go on Real Self and you look up BMI, Mommy Makeover, BMI Tummy Tuck, or any of the things that, you might search, you'll see a lot of answers given as absolutes that don't agree with each other. You'll see people saying that 30 is the max, they'll say 40 is the max, they'll say 35 is the max. Excuse me, sorry. And people repeat that a lot as gospel. And, I've seen people get really stressed out over this. I've seen people, I've seen girls or dolls shaming other dolls a lot. Go lose the weight, you'll feel better, blah, blah, blah. Just because they happen to be at even not a very high BMI. It doesn't really matter. I mean, scientifically, if you look at the studies, BMI has been considered a poor metric for almost anything. People use it for weight loss, like planning. Doctors use it sometimes, and plastic surgeons use it. I'm not really sure why, because it is such a scientifically not well-regarded method of measuring anything. But here we are. I mean, a person who's very muscular and, who may not be very tall might have a high BMI that makes it seem like they're morbidly obese. There are people who might be, who have a higher body fat percentage, but their BMI for some reason isn't high. So it's just not a great metric, but it really doesn't matter in the end because, excuse me, chances are, if you're over a 30 BMI, which is not that overweight, but it does, this is not a discussion about weight. If you have comments about it, keep them to yourself. Write them in your Hello Kitty notepad. We don't need to hear them. Because if somebody's here looking for surgery, all they need to hear is what a surgeon has to say, and not what somebody who's not a surgeon, who's not doing work on them, has to say, including myself. So you will see surgeons, and surgeons will have limits, but that doesn't mean it's the limit. There are surgeons, and they're not too uncommon. There are surgeons who work with dolls who have over 35 BMIs, over 38. Some of the more popular surgeons in the Dominican Republic, actually, 40 or 38 is their limit. So and it's not just the Dominican Republic. There are plenty of surgeons in Miami that do work with dolls who are over a 30 or 35 BMI. So if you don't want to get discouraged, and that's where you are, do not listen to other people. They're telling you about themselves. And I ran into this issue when I did a video about haters and people giving you a hard time. Somebody posted on my wall some scary article from years ago about an adverse incident in the Dominican Republic. And immediately it turned into a conversation about, it was framed as, oh, we're so worried about you. Yeah, okay, whatever. And then immediately it turned into a conversation that was like 80% about somebody else's diet. And it was, good for you. I'm not knocking that. That's great. But, my surgery has nothing to do with diet. But the trend that I see is somebody will go into a thread or comments or a forum and say, this is my weight, this is my height, these are my pictures, can I get surgery? Now, don't do that, because you're gonna, no matter what, somebody is gonna come in and tell you your diet story. And that's what I see. I see people are like, oh, I was, and then I did this, and okay, that's great, but this is not about you, this is about the person asking the question. So don't ask other dolls about BMI limits. Talk to your surgeon, talk to multiple surgeons, talk to surgeons that you know work with different BMIs. There are certain surgeons that I couldn't go see because they don't see people who are over a 30 BMI or whatever. I don't know what mine is, but it's kind of irrelevant. The point is that I kind of knew immediately who I would go towards and who I would not go towards because, there's certain BMI and body shape and all those things are decisions that, like, if you diet down to under 30 and that's not really what your natural body is like, it's not your set point, it's going to be hard to maintain for the rest of your life. And I didn't want to get into a situation where I was like 50 pounds lighter than I am normally, and that's just a struggle I'm going to have for life. I wanted to be somewhere where I was comfortable with my body, and some of the issues that I wasn't as comfortable with were changed, but that I wasn't not like me. I don't want to look not like me. I want to look like me. I like the way I look. I've never been a diet person. As younger, I was put on diets a lot, so I just kind of decided to just be me and not really, worked. I mean, wearing a lot of makeup, I'm getting plastic surgery, but that's for me. These are things that make me happy. I wouldn't do that for somebody else. But the point of this video is BMI shaming and people giving out answers that they don't have. So somebody will tell you, no matter what you say, that your BMI is too high, you have to go lose weight, you should go get a gastric sleeve. I see that all the time, which is like, that's a major surgery. Unless somebody is super, super morbidly obese and can't lose weight any other way, why are you even telling that to them? It's like, just give them a chance. So, if you're a doll who weighs over 200 pounds or your BMI is over 35, do not get discouraged. Do not think that crash dieting or diet surgery is the only option for you. I don't know by name who the surgeons are in Miami. I don't know by name specifically who the surgeons are in the Dominican Republic, but I do know that there are several. Now, I mentioned my surgeon is Dr. Lima, and I know he does work, I don't know exactly if he has a limit or not, but one of the reasons I picked him was because he did work with curves. He didn't work with just making women look thin and, curvy. He worked with thick and curvy women as well, and it wasn't just that he did it, it was that he did it well, and that's going to be one of your considerations if you're a bigger doll. Is not just who will do it, but who does it well. What does their work look like on bigger dolls? Does it just look like kind of a mismatched version of what's supposed to be a smaller doll? You really want to know, not only who does it, but who does it well. And I love Dr. Lima's work, irrespective of whether or not he had a BMI limit. I know there are some doctors in the DR who I wouldn't be able to see, but those weren't doctors that were on my list anyway. I actually didn't really have a list. Like I said, I found Dr. Lima immediately. I just was drawn towards him. It was like love at first sight, but for your plastic surgeon. So I just wanted to make this video, because if you're searching YouTube for videos about plastic surgery and BMI, chances are you saw a surgeon who told you you're too fat, or you're hearing from other girls or dolls that you're too fat. And I just wanted to tell you that is not always the case. Go on Real Self, do a search for surgeons who don't have a BMI limit or who have a higher BMI limit. Look for surgeons that explain that they do work with curvier dolls. You don't have to stick with a surgeon who doesn't do that kind of work, and chances are they're not going to do a great job on you. So, I just want people to know that you don't have to listen to what other people say, and I want you to know that 100% of the time, if somebody who's not your surgeon, who's not doing a consultation with you, tells you that you are too overweight for surgery, what happens next is a story about their weight loss journey. And I get it. People are very proud of the work that they do, and they're very proud of working out, and they're very proud of that journey. But your journey is not the place to share it. They can write it on their blog, they can tell a story about it, they can post their pictures, but it has nothing to do with you. So this is for all the dolls out there who have been told, like, oh, you can't get surgery, you're too fat, and who kind of feel like, and I see this on Real Self a lot, it's not that they're not willing to lose weight, it's that they are happy at the weight they are on, and some arbitrary scale that's not okay. They're a 36.2 BMI, and they like the way their body looks, but you know, that's they've heard that it's 35. So find the right doctor. Do not listen to gossip. And even if it's in a surgeon's answers, you know, they say this surgery is not performed on somebody over 30 BMI. That's nonsense, because it is. That surgeon, that's his rule, but that's not every surgeon's rule. Other surgeons will say 35. Other surgeons will say that you won't get a good aesthetic result. But that's a really specific thing, because that's like saying, like, if you don't do your hair blonde, you're not going to get a good specific aesthetic result. Some people prefer, you know, curviness. Some people prefer thinness. Some people prefer blonde. Some people prefer brunette or even black. But it really is up to the person what they like. And if you're happy at your body weight, chances are there is a surgeon out there who works on people like you all the time and who will work on you. So don't listen to people who tell you that they know what every surgeon's BMI limit is. And don't listen to people who tell you that they know that, you know, you need to get a gastric sleeve. That's between you and your doctor. And, you know, weight loss surgery is a huge step, and you probably don't need it. And you may not even need to lose a significant amount or any weight before your surgery. So before you stress out about that, find a doctor who is in your BMI range with their limits and talk to them first. They may say you're fine. They may say, you know, don't worry about it and move ahead. So I hate seeing that. I hate seeing 200 comment threads bashing somebody because they're 50 pounds overweight. They deserve surgery as much as you do, or I do, or anybody does. You know, it's not fair and it's not right. And if you're here because that happened to you, I'm sorry. And you probably are a candidate for surgery. So just find those doctors, just keep searching. And if you have any comments or questions, just leave them in the links below. And thank you for watching.